guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Tania Bright. I am a student astrologer and a tarot reader. And in today's video, we are going to be doing your May 2020 month ahead readings, and we're also going to be talking a little bit about some astrological events going on in the month of May. If you've already seen this part of the video, go ahead and fast forward to your tarot reading. I will be linking a timestamp down below or on the screen somewhere in case you want to fast forward to it. My tarot readings are always timeless, and this one is going to resonate with your sun, moon, rising, or Venus. A lot of you ask, which placement do I watch for? Watch for all 4 placements, and whatever readings resonates, will resonate, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. So quick disclaimer before I get into the astrology portion, I am still a student when it comes into astrology. I am in no way, shape, or form trying to teach. I am simply just going to mention and broadly talk about these events just so you know what's going on this month, and if you want to look further into it, then you can. But for month ahead readings, I feel like it's really important that we talk about what is going on astrologically. So by the middle of May, we are going to have 4 planets going retrograde. We already have Pluto going retrograde. That started April 24th. And then the next planet to go retrograde, I believe, is Saturn. Let me double check. Okay, and then the next planet we're going to have retrograde is Saturn. It's going retrograde in Capricorn on May 11th. Soon after that, we're going to have Venus going retrograde in Gemini May 13th. And then literally the next day, we're going to have Jupiter going retrograde in Capricorn May 14th. So lots of retrogrades going on. We also have the super moon on the 7th in Scorpio, and that is going to be a big, intense energy. So what retrogrades do is it forces us to look inward. Retrogrades are a period of reflection, perfecting things, reviewing things. So I feel like this month is really going to be about solidifying ourselves and starting to sort of settle into our own energies. I feel like, April and all of the previous months, we were going through purges, we were going through transformations, we were losing a lot, gaining a lot. We were going through major pivot points. And now I think it's kind of time to reflect on everything we've gone through, everything we've learned. I feel like we're coming into Taurus season with more of a knowing, an inner knowing, knowing what we want, knowing what we don't want, knowing what we have, knowing what we don't have. And we didn't have that pleasure in April or any of the previous months. So that's what kind of gives this season a step up, is we've learned so much. So let's talk about the Venus in Gemini retrograde. That one is super notorious because it's also being squared it is also being squared Neptune in Pisces. So then you have Venus, the planet of values, beauty, creation. It's about romance, pleasure, partnerships, art. And that energy is being flavored by Gemini. Gemini is also very social and playful. It's the planet of intellectual, logical thinking. It's a planet of communication, both written, verbal, however we want to communicate. It's also the sign of duality. It's the sign of socials. It kind of rules social media along with Aquarius. I like to say Gemini rules it too as well. So what I think this combination of energies is going to do is with Gemini here, it's going to allow us to communicate, to vocalize what we're thinking and feeling, which we struggled with as a collective. I feel like a lot of us were struggling with throat chakra, and this Gemini energy really comes in and uplifts that struggle. So I feel like a lot of us are going to, since Venus is going retrograde, we're going to be having honest internal conversations with ourselves about what we truly do value, how we look at ourselves and how much we value ourselves and other people, and kind of what is the pecking order, what is the list of importance, in terms of the people around us, the materials we have, ourselves. I feel like we're really going to start to file that and categorize that and figure out what's important to us and what's not. Venus also rules desires, so I feel like a lot of us are going to uncover what it is that we truly desire out of life, and we're going to have sort of an honest conversation with ourselves about whether or not we are on track to getting that, to making that happen? You know, are we actually doing what we love, or are we, you know, doing something because of the money? Are we doing something because of, you know, material gains? Which I'm noticing with the energy, money and the value of it is kind of like decreasing a little. Like, you know, we're not spending as much as we used to because we're not going out anymore. We're starting to save a lot more. Like, I feel like money is starting to become less of like a luxury thing, because to some extent with quarantine, a lot of like our luxuries, especially when going out, you know, got taken away from us. So I feel like the value of money, you know, we were sort of, and I was talking about this in my previous video, we were in a position where we wanted more and more and more, and ever since quarantine happened, we're kind of like just okay with what we need. And I feel like that still rings true throughout the month of May. And for most of May, we are going to be in Taurus season, and Taurus also deals with finances and material gains and losses. So I still see some of us going to struggle with that. I still see some of us are going to, you know, be dealing with money loss, or just changing maybe how we make our money. I can see that being a theme throughout the month of May. Now, Venus is also the planet of creativity, and Gemini is the planet of, Gemini is the sign of, you know, handiwork, doing things with our hands. It's also a creative energy as well. It's highly, highly creative, very, very intelligent. So I feel like a lot of us are going to get crafty, get smart about our resources, get creative about, you know, our money, and really learning how to use that to its utmost value. Maybe even get creative on ways to bring in more income. I see a lot of us maybe even diving into hobbies more, because Gemini rules hobbies. So I see a lot of us diving into our hobbies and learning how to profit off them, learning how to make money off them. So I see, you know, artists, you know, learning how to sell their art, promote their art, you know, getting smart when it comes to that, because Gemini is also a salesman. It's salesman energy. Like, Gemini knows how to talk you into whatever it wants. So another aspect that definitely plays into like sort of money and finances is the Jupiter and Pluto conjunction. We have Jupiter, which rules expansion, but we have Pluto, which rules debt. So when you put those combinations together, we can kind of see like maybe global debts, or people sort of like getting in trouble for their debts. I would handle your financial situation as much as possible this month. I would really try to knock those out. Now, another thing I think is super interesting is there's sort of like this spiritual aspect to the Jupiter and Pluto conjunction, because Jupiter rules, you know, higher knowledge, higher wisdom, gurus, teachers, spirituality, and we have Pluto, which is wanting to know more, wanting to dig deeper. So I see there is a spiritual awakening sort of going on with the collective. I see a lot more people getting into tarot and astrology. And I also feel like because quarantine happened and our world sort of it shook up a bit, and it drastically changed so fast, people turned to spirituality for answers, because there really is an energy of like power to the people here. We have like a lot of Gemini and Aquarius energy going on here, and like I said, those signs rule the internet. So I feel that there's a lot of power here with the internet. There's a lot of power here when you make a YouTube video or you post a tarot card reading or whatever. You reach a lot of people, you influence a lot of people. And I feel like if you are going to be an influencer or a guru or a teacher or astrologer, tarot reader, whatever you want to call yourself, if you're going to be doing that, I feel like it's important that we spread a message that is optimistic. I feel like it's important that we spread the message of, you know, raising the like vibrational energy here as a collective. There's a YouTuber who, I think her name's like Pam Gregory or something like that. I'll leave her YouTube link down below, but she has a book where she talks about how you can actually measure someone's thoughts. All right, so that's what like the idea of manifestation is that, you know, what we are internalizing and thinking, you know, we can actually project out. Now with quarantine, we have a lot of us sort of like being, you know, in close like proximity to a lot of other people, so we're very much affected by their energy and they're very much affected by ours. So I feel like it's really important that we're having like a sense of awareness of what we are projecting out. Be aware of the energies you put out, and so that way we can work better as a collective and we can try to raise ourselves as a collective, because there is also this energy of like a blank canvas here, and that energy has been there since the beginning of the year when we had all of those time resets. We're sort of like in a position right now where we're creating like a whole new like era almost, you know what I mean? We have a lot of like social structures and government structures crashing right now, and when something crashes, you know, we have to rebuild. Tower moment in tarot, when it crashes, you got to rebuild a stronger, firmer foundation. So I almost feel like the collective is going through like their own major tower moment. I see 2020 as like this giant tower moment, but I'm not gonna get too into that, okay? I'm gonna keep it very broad and general, because then this video would be hours long. Alright, so let's talk about the supermoon in Scorpio. So full moons and supermoons, they have this energy of like endings, completion, because it's the moon cycle completing itself. So it's this energy of, you know, closing those doors, laying things to rest, but it can also have the energy of like shedding light on situations we might not know about, because the moon sheds light on darkness. So when we have a supermoon, it means that the moon is closer to Earth in proximity and it becomes really big, and that means its energy can be felt more, its energy is a lot more amplified. But when we have a supermoon in a water sign, more specifically Scorpio, that energy is extra emotional and intense, because Scorpio is a sign of intensity. So with this supermoon, I see a lot of secrets sort of coming up to surface, because Scorpio rules like hidden areas of life. So this, you know, this might not have to be like a scandalous secret, but it could be like secrets within the self, parts of ourselves that we didn't really know, or parts of ourselves that were kind of like taboo, you know, we start to recognize with this supermoon energy. Now supermoons also have to be about release, so whatever surfaces, we need to let go, all right? Because then we start the new moon cycle, and we want to be starting fresh. We want to handle the problems that actually come to light during the supermoon. I see issues of trust here as well, because Scorpio energy always struggles with trust and loyalty and betrayal. Those are major themes for Scorpio energy. So I see a lot of us sort of dealing with who we trust and who trusts us, and you know, can I rely on this person? Can I not rely on this person? Is this person loyal to me? Am I loyal to them? I can see us having that conversation during the supermoon. Now, another thing that Pam Gregory talks about is how Scorpio's ancient ruler is Mars, okay? So Scorpio energy does not flinch. It's very similar to Aries energy, where it's like, I need to make this happen. The thing that the supermoon might give us is hyper focus, because Scorpio has the ability to literally focus all of its energy on its goal and be so diligent and so fixated on its goal that it will not give up, it will not release until it has completed it. So I feel like a lot of us are going to have drive. A lot of us are going to, you know, want to make a plan, want to get things done, and I really love that, you know, as it goes hand in hand with like people starting up new businesses and people diving into their creative hobbies. So I kind of like that energy for the month of May. So the last thing I also want to talk about is Venus being squared Neptune in Pisces. So it's interesting because it's also in Gemini. Gemini is the energy of logical thinking, of knowing, and then we have it squared Neptune, which is and Pisces, which is the energy of like delusion, imagination, the spirit world. Think like 12th house energy, where it's like the part in the brain that's so deep in the subconscious that it's hard to bring it forward. So I feel like with these two energies, we're going to sort of go through this period. It's like where we know, and we understand it, and then we don't know and we don't understand it. And especially when Venus is in retrograde, I feel like we're going to struggle a lot with what is true. I almost see like the Venus energy is like a plane going through a cloud, and it's like when it's, you know, in this cloud and it's especially squared Neptune, it's like clouded energy we can't see. We can't fully understand. It's like I can't see the big picture. And then as soon as it ends and it exits the cloud, then it's like boom, awakening moment, oh, epiphany moment, oh, I finally understand. I see us sort of going back and forth with those energies like throughout the retrograde. I see us sort of like having this understanding, thinking that we get it, and then not freaking getting it at all, and then having epiphanies, and then understanding a little bit more, only to find out the more we know, the less we know type energy. That's kind of what I pick up on. Astrologers like to say this is not the time to make major changes, major decisions, and that's because you don't want to make a decision when you're on a plane in a cloud, you know what I mean? You don't want to make a decision when you don't have all of the information. You don't want to make a decision when you aren't seeing the full bigger picture yet. And of course, that's not to say you can't, you know, make that move, or you can't, you know, make that big change. I think it's just, I think the message here is more about just being cautious and making sure that you are doing any type of research, any type of investigative work needed in order to properly make that decision. So the last theme that I want to mention is the theme of heart chakra. There's this YouTuber that I absolutely adore, and I love to watch his YouTube channel, Esoteric Healing. He did a video about healing throughout May and how we've sort of moved from like heart chakra from throat chakra down to heart chakra, and now the collective is sort of struggling with that. So there could be feelings of like anxieties, sadness, like heavy just feelings in the heart chakra right now. And when the heart chakra is affected, Sky was talking about how our crown chakra, our thoughts also get affected. The two go hand in hand, heart, feelings, and thoughts, right? So I feel what's important here is as our heart and our feelings are going through these waves of ups and downs, that we take care of the heart chakra. We keep our mind strong and leveled. It's really, really important that you do that, otherwise you might get lost in like all of the ups and downs and the chaotic energy that's going on within your feelings. When dealing with, you know, all these emotions, I really recommend capitalizing on all that Gemini energy that we have, especially that Venus energy, sort of like turn that pain into art. Write it out. You can write poetry, write stories, write whatever, but Gemini rules like written communication, so write out how you feel. I also see a lot of us speaking publicly on how we feel, and I see that being very therapeutic, not only to, you know, yourself for releasing it, but also to other people for hearing it. Because Gemini isn't just about talking, it's about listening as well. Talking about things publicly really just brings us together a bit as a collective, and it helps us connect a bit more. I see a huge, just like, how do I say this? Like I'm seeing in my head, like I see a huge like spike almost in internet connections and socializing on the internet, and that being a lot more acceptable, especially because of quarantine. It's kind of the only way we could socialize, but I see that staying true for many years to come after this. Alright, that's kind of all I have to say. Like I said, I wanted to keep it super broad. If you want to dive into any of these events, I will be listing them in the description box down below. Let's go ahead and just jump right into the tarot portion of this video. What's up, Pisces, and welcome to your May 2020 tarot reading. So we are going to be pulling some oracle cards, tarot cards for the week-to-week, confirmation cards, and then at the very end I am going to pull an extra card from my baby tarot deck to see what gift Venus is going to bring you for the month. So Pisces, especially Pisces risings, you guys have Gemini in your 4th house, so you guys are going to be having retrograde, like that Venus retrograde go on there. And 4th house is like the house of like your home life, your childhood. It's a very intuitive house. All of the, you know, home houses for the water signs are all very intuitive. It's a very spiritual house. This house has to deal a lot with security, a lot with like your mom, a lot with family. And I see you guys sort of having the opportunity to get over a lot of like childhood shit and a lot of like family issues. I see it maybe surfacing and being, you know, kind of painful at first, but because it's surfaced, you're able to release it. I see you guys really reevaluating what home means and what it is you need from like people and from a place to feel like you're at home. I see you guys also kind of questioning and trying to figure out who you feel safe with and where do you feel safe, and really kind of like longing for that feeling of like security, feeling like, you know, you don't have to worry, because home is a place where we go where we don't have to worry. I see you guys might even be like fixated on building a family, fixated on getting pregnant, fixated on, you know, maybe like dealing with the relationships with your already existing family members. I see that just being a theme here. There could be like this urge to parent, so like you guys might want to get an animal or like, you know, something like that. And that's not to say do it, you know, do it if it's right for you, don't if it's not, but I feel like that urge might be there. And I feel like you guys are going to be extra sensitive because, you know, this is a home sign to Cancer, and Cancer is a very, very sensitive sign. And it's sensitive in like a different way than what you're used to, Pisces. I feel like Pisces sensitivity is inward rooted, whereas like Cancer sensitivity is more outward. So I feel like you guys are going to be sensitive to like the people around you and how they feel and what they say and their energies. And you guys might internalize that and project that back out. And I see this being a good month for manifestation as well, because Cancer is one of the best signs at manifesting. So are you. All the water signs are very good at manifesting. But I see you guys kind of having the ability to get quick turnovers when it comes to manifestations. So let's go ahead and pull some oracle cards. So these oracle cards are going to tell me, you know, what central themes are going to be surrounding you this month, what energies might be helping or hindering you, what energies you might have to embody or pay more attention to. These oracle cards are going to tell us if there are any chakras that are off. These oracle cards will also tell us. So I'm just going to take a second to like shuffle them, get them acclimated to your energy, and then let's go ahead and deal. What oracle messages do we have? I love that third eye came out. That came out for Scorpio as well. Harmony, that also came out for Cancer. Ooh, I love that we have light here, because I feel like Pisces, you guys have been in the dark for quite some time. Let me get the ones that fell on the floor. So I have two that fell on the floor. Alright. So let's gather these cards up and see what we have going on here. You guys have the most oracles so far out of the water signs, but Pisces, I feel like you guys have been going through the most out of the water signs. We have patience here, 14, third eye here, foundation and achievements. Let me move this guy over. Heartache and loss, obstacles and challenges, the universe, the waiting game, light, and harmony. So I'm getting a lot of intuitive messages for Pisces. Right off the bat, that light card sticks out to me because I feel like as things come to light, the heartbreak and the loss happens. And that's just because I feel like you guys, like I said, have been in the dark on so many areas of your life. I feel as though, you know, you guys, like, what the message that immediately popped up in my head is in January. That was like a year where, you know, if we started something new, we really set ourselves up for the next like 4 months. And I feel like Pisces, a lot of you guys got involved in like a situation or a career or a relationship that wasn't actually right with you, and that's because I don't think you guys understood what was right for you at that time. And now you guys have gained so much more knowledge, so much more wisdom, that you guys understand what is right for you, and that truth might lead to this heartache and loss. But I see it as a good truth. We're starting to work on a foundation that actually isn't going to crumble this time. We're starting to work towards our goals because we're no longer being held back by this situation. I see this harmony energy as harmony within yourself, Pisces. I feel like for the longest you guys have kind of been, you know, disconnected with yourselves or just not in tune with yourselves as you'd like to be. I think this is the month where you start to become more in tune, and that is going to cause for things that, or people that, or even situations that aren't in alignment with that newfound harmony. It's going to have to go. It's going to have to drop. The tower has to crumble. But I see this all as being a good thing. I see this obstacles and challenges card having to do with this heartache and loss and this light energy I was talking about, and you know, you working towards working towards building a foundation for yourself. So I feel like this obstacle is more so within the self, like instead of it being a physical obstacle and challenge, I feel like it's more so a challenge within yourself and your own spirit and your own beliefs and what you think you deserve. That's what I see being the obstacle. I love that we have universe and third eye chakra here. I feel like you guys are going to be highly intuitive, and this is, like I said, an inward intuition because Pisces naturally has that. But since you have that Cancer transit, or that fourth house transit, sorry, not a Cancer transit, fourth house transit, you guys might have a lot more intuition for people around you and kind of like picking up on that. So I feel like this is kind of a destined time for you, Pisces. This is kind of like your make or break moment. I feel like this is like either your chance to free yourself, or you're going to get like caught up for the next like 4 months again. Like, I really see this as like another kind of like checkpoint where it's like you guys can either stay on the path you're on or you can pivot. I feel like this patience card and the waiting game card go hand in hand. I feel like things are going to play out this month, and truths are going to surface this month that help propel you forward and help you sort of like move on from your past and help you, you know, determine your future because you're able to move on from that past finally. And yeah, let's go ahead and see what's going on with the week to week for Pisces. I'm going to put those oracles to the side here. So Pisces, for tarot, all my cards are in the upright position. So if any of them fall in reverse, that's just the way Spirit intended the message. I really love that 9 of Cups card and that High Priestess card that popped out. Okay, so let's see what's going on first week for Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising. Oh, look at that, 9 of Cups. Told you I was going to come out. Let's see what it's... Ooh, I love that we had the Star and the 8 of Wands here because Cancer also pulled that. Cancer pulled that as well. Let's see what that Star is being accompanied by. Oh, Ace of Cups. Pisces. Ooh. Okay, let's see what the last week has. Justice. I love that you guys have that. Scorpio also pulled this card as like their gift. And then it's with the Devil. Ooh, you guys are having a crazy month. Look at all of this major arcana. 10 of Pentacles, the first one. Okay, wow. Pisces, you guys sort of have it the best out of the water signs this month. And I'm happy because you guys have had it the roughest out of the water signs for the entire year. And I told you, this is the year where you guys either set yourselves up for being on the right path and doing what's, you know, right with you and your heart and in your spirit, or you guys stay chained again for the next couple months. So let's talk about the first week. We have 4 of Rods with the 10 of Pentacles. Pisces, I feel like you guys are really kind of like coming into this month with a lot more knowledge of what it is you want to be doing, especially career-wise, how it is you want to make money. I think you guys kind of come into it with sorry, I'm like just touching these cards, trying to channel them. and make it all pretty. But I feel like you guys kind of come into this month with like a game plan almost, and I think it's going to be super beneficial for you with the Four of Rods. I feel like you guys have learned a lot from the month of April on what not to do, so you're kind of coming into the month of May on what it is you can do. And you guys are going to really be building for the long run the first week of May. And that's kind of what I was saying, where you're setting yourself up here for the next, like, you know, rest of the year, I would say, for the rest of the year. Because Ten of Pentacles is about things lasting. So I feel like the choices you make the first month, or no, sorry, not the first month, the first week are really going to stick with you for a long time. Then we have the second week, we have Nine of Cups with the Eight of Wands. So Nine of Cups means you guys are coming to the end of the chapter. You guys are kind of like finishing up this cycle, finishing up this chapter. And I think that's super interesting because, you know, we have that Scorpio super moon going down on the 7th. So I feel like that's when you guys kind of really get reflective and really lay things to rest. I feel like momentum is also picking up for you the second week, and things kind of start to work out the second week. That's kind of what I see here. It's kind of like whatever you've been manifesting kind of it starts to work itself out the second week. Third week is super interesting. Third week, we have the Star and the Ace of Cups. So the Star means this is a fated situation. It's a lucky situation. Things are sort of aligning for you. Ace of Cups has to do with new beginnings in regards to love. So maybe many of you are going to deepen your, existing connections the third week. Maybe, you might get that engagement ring, or you might, move out with like your partner, take that next step. Or a lot of you might even be like, how do I say this? Like, I don't want to say getting into new relationships, because I don't think retrograde is ever a good time to get into relationships, but some of you guys might be, yeah. Some of you guys just might be. But I feel like it's like, you guys are going to kind of like start up something that you love. That's kind of how I see this. Is like, Ace of Cups is something that you're passionate about, something that you love, and it's like a new discovery. And I feel like that's kind of like what you guys find, and it really makes you guys sort of get back in touch with yourselves, and in the most beautiful way, in a way where it's like you're happy to be in touch with yourself. Interesting, with the fourth week we have Justice and the Devil card here, which is so, like, I feel like whatever it is you're chained to, it's almost like that sword that Justice card man is holding, like, comes in and slices through the chain. And I feel like you guys finally like break through your bad habits. You guys finally break off like that relationship that wasn't working with you. You guys kind of like get justice on a wrong that was made, whether you made that wrong or another person made that wrong. I feel like you get justice on it finally, and you are able to move forward because it's like you don't have this thing lingering in the back of your mind keeping you in the past now. Fourth week is when you finally get freedom from that. Like, that's what popped up in my head, is freedom. And Scorpio also pulled that Justice card too. And I feel like you guys both, all the water signs, kind of had something not sitting right with them spiritually that you guys finally make right in the month of May. So let's go ahead and pull some confirmation cards for you, Pisces. Pisces, I want to go back to that Nine of Cups card. I really feel like it's important that you guys manifest, because Nine of Cups is, the gift of a wish. But I feel like it's really important that you guys manifest something that aligns with your higher self, something that aligns with that newfound harmony that you've given to yourself, and something that also aligns with your spirit. Make sure it feels right. I feel like you guys can sometimes dive into situations that aren't right for you because you guys aren't afraid of it. You guys almost learn from it. It's kind of like the way like Scorpio likes to dive into challenges because it likes to rise from the challenge. You guys like to dive into sort of like, dark situations or toxic situations and rise from it because that's how you learn. I wouldn't do that or manifest that the second week. I would manifest something that aligns with your higher self, okay? Especially since you have that Star card and the Ace of Cups. You guys have, the ability to really create something for yourself this month that you really want and really deserve. I have to add, like, I feel like you guys have been in the dark for so long that You guys are finally starting to, I love all the Pisces cards that are coming out. I think you guys have been in the dark for so long that you guys are finally beginning to see the light at the end of the tunnel, like finally, and that gives you guys a lot of hope. Okay, let's see what's going on here. We have so much of the mutable energy here. Okay. Oh my goodness. Pisces, look at this confirmation card. A new romantic cycle begins. That really confirms what we were saying about that Ace of Cups and that Star card. Like how I said, some of you guys are going to progress in your relationships. Some of you guys might be getting out of them. Some of you guys might be entering them. Either way, it's progressive. I have a win-win outcome is forecasted. Also, full moon in Libra. Both of these cards are Libra energy. I feel like that win-win outcome is forecasted, that Justice card. Whatever it is that was wrong, when it gets made right, everyone wins. Everyone benefits from it. I have nothing is set in stone yet, mutable moon, which I feel like is kind of like a blessing for you. Like, you remember I told you guys in the beginning of the year in January, set yourselves up for like these past 4 or 5 months, 5 months almost, pretty much, but I feel like this is like a reminder that, you know, you can still pivot, Pisces, you can still change, you can still move the way you want to move, so nothing is set in stone yet, you know. Then I have balance, spirituality, and practicality. It's funny, I was just talking about this card on Twitter. I feel like this means, like, don't be so much in your head and in your intuition. Like, you have to do the earthwork. You have to do the groundwork, too, if you want to get to where you want. Conclusions are in reach, full moon eclipse. I feel like that has to do with this first week and setting yourselves up for the long run. I feel like you guys kind of like figure out what that looks like and what that means to you. I also feel like this has to do with the second week where things, you know, we have the Nine of Cups, which talks about endings, finishing up a chapter. So I feel like that also really confirms that you finished up that chapter. And then I have step out of your comfort zone, North Node, and that's funny because you have that for Pisces risings. You guys have that 4th house transit, which 4th house deals a lot with the comfort zone. So I feel like you guys are going, there's no growth in the comfort zone. You know, we have to push our boundaries a bit to grow. And I feel like that's going to be a theme for you, Pisces, is pushing your boundaries a little bit, just enough to grow, just enough to pivot, make the pivot that you need. Last card we have is meditate and contemplate. I feel like this means to really listen to yourself, Pisces. Because when you're in meditation, you kind of like, I feel like for me at least, meditation is about quieting the mind so that way you can actually listen to the inner voice you have in your head. And I feel like it's really important that you guys listen to that inner voice, Pisces, because I feel like you've been ignoring it for a long time now. And then now this voice is screaming at you and you can't ignore it anymore. But it's time to feed that voice. So let's go ahead and pull from the Baby Tarot deck to kind of just get a sense of what gift Venus is bringing you with the month of May. So what gift is, ooh, that dropped right away. And I'm reading this on the upright. So we have the King of Rods as your gift. I feel like this is the gift of optimism, which you guys haven't had in a hot minute. I feel like this is the gift of leadership. This is the gift of, it's Knight of Rods, so, which is still true, what I said. Gift of leadership, yes, and gift of optimism, but it's also the gift of, like, momentum, like, actually getting things done, because I see Knight of Rods as a quicker moving knight, and I see it's like you guys feel good this month. Like I see Knight of Rods as like an energy where it's like you are happy to be at work. You are happy to be fighting this battle. If that means that, you know, you come out of it triumphant and optimistic and free, which you do with this month. You guys do get that this month. So it's a beautiful gift. I feel like you guys have the gift of like drive. So not only do you have all of this like supporting energy and you guys finally understand what it is you want, but you guys are also unapologetic about getting it. That's what I see. And that is going to be the greatest gift, because I think for the longest you have not been going for what it is you want because of other people involved. And I feel like this is the month where you guys are finally like, you know, it's about me and I'm going to make it happen for me. And I love that for you, Pisces. I'm getting chills as I say that. But yeah, Pisces, that was it for your reading. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on Twitter for more tarot and astrology content. The next time you see me, I'm probably going to be posting your monthly love readings, so make sure to turn my bell on so you know when I post them. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in my next video.